Welcome back to If Just for Today. I'm Craig G. I'm your host. If today's If Just for Today is let me be humble in my prayers to my God. You know, when I started this 8 years ago, I was, as I mentioned before, pretty agnostic, and of course I prayed to God when I needed stuff. And it's taken me a journey to understand, for me, the depth of what I found prayers work for me. And and being humble was, before when I would, like I said, having one crisis after another. God, if you do this for me, if you do that for me, it was always let's make a deal. And God is not let's make a deal. And as I started this journey, I surely didn't understand, and I don't think I'll ever understand the depth of it. But today, I surely have a lot more perception. And well, let me go back to how my prayers were. My prayers were, when I got in trouble, I would say, God, if you do this for me, I promise I'll never do it again. We've all been there. Most people, when they're in a time of crisis, they will, even agnostics, will say to God, help me out on this. I can't talk about atheists because I wasn't an atheist. Uh, and, sometimes things would work out, sometimes they didn't. And I always, with naive, the to be so naive to think that because it didn't work out or whatever, that God doesn't love me or that there's not a God. Um, I look back and I think how immature was that thinking, and also how unfair is that to God. You know, as I started my journey into understanding prayers to God, um, and I think I shared in one of my other videos. It came from, oh, I wish I could remember the father's name. I just don't. But he was going through a very troubling time, and he was about to leave the priesthood, and another priest that he reached out to uh, suggested on him focusing intently on just one thing. And it can't be something that you want. I'm not going to go there and into that, but focusing on something that is truly troubling. I like to use it like with character defects. If I want to remove a character defect, first I have to become aware of it. But once I'm aware of it, if I want to remove it, uh, in most cases, I know I cannot do this alone. I do need help from my higher power, and my higher power is God. And his process was to focus on that prayer every day. And over a course, I think in his case, it was like 40 days or something. Um, he saw that situation, this happened a couple of times. Well, I made the decision because I've shared that I swim an hour nonstop. And during this transition of my journey, I decided I wanted to really take that hour instead of listening to music or instead of thinking about this or that, becoming humble in my prayers to God. And I will tell you, it wasn't easy at first by any means. And sometimes it still isn't easy if there's a lot of distractions or uh, if I'm in a not the best of spaces that particular day, I can see my mind will wander. But in his case, he found how that did work. And I decided I would give that a try. And, you know, again, not for material things. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Uh, the things I decided to focus on, I stripped out all the material requests and I went strictly to a spiritual to get closer to God. And that was actually really some of my early prayers was to become closer, to be more humble, to understand how to pray to him. And because God is not a spiritual butler. And many of us think that because we pray, we're going to get our prayers answered. I don't live in that fantasy world because it is a fantasy world. Uh, I'm not going to say that I don't believe God hears my prayers. Oh, I know He hears my prayers. I've seen the results of 8 years of Him letting me know that there's some communication. I don't understand it. I don't need to understand it. I'm just very grateful and thankful for it. And as the journey of praying went forward for me, it went more intently um, from asking for assistance on things to realizing the gratitudes that I have for God being in my life. God was never lost. It was Craig G that was lost. And I am so grateful that to have the serenity and that connection. And for me, I can't explain it. I really can't. There's something about the water and me and doing it for an hour nonstop that um, it's really powerful. That's all I can say. It's really powerful. And the humbleness is not focusing on me. A lot of my prayers are for other people. A lot of my prayers are for this country, for the world. Those prayers aren't being answered yet, but I still have time. It is something that I'm thankful that I do. I really encourage others to give it a try, but don't just give it a try for a week or two. I'm going to say it the way that Father said it in the video that he did, and that was focus on just one thing. And I highly recommend that focus not be a material thing. Look at asking God for a way to assist you to get closer to Him and really focus on that. And, I don't care if you're walking, I don't care if you're meditating, whatever will work for you. As I said, for me, it's being in that water, being in the pool. It does work. And for me, it has so much power. And I would highly recommend trying it. And if you see that you're seeing some results, well, then you have a reason to have faith to continue the process. You know, I just realized I cannot do this journey by myself. I could live by myself. I can't do the journey by myself. And for those that think they can, well, I don't want to get into that side of the avenue. I want to keep focused on what works and being so grateful to God. And that's for me such an important part of the prayer of the gratitude. Um, as the Ten Commandments say, I am a jealous God. And I believe God even wants to hear that His special creations are grateful to Him for what He gives us. And yes, do bad things happen? Without question. But I truly believe in the life after here, because I do believe there's a life after here. Um, Things will be balanced out. Where justice hasn't been given in this world, justice will be worked out in I won't say the next world, the afterlife. And so this has been my little, if just for today, on being humble to praying to God. Uh, I think it's worth a try because I know with many others who've followed the recipe, they too have seen the changes and the power. And again, I emphasize the prayers have to be not materially based. The prayers have to be spiritually based. And that's where being humble comes about. Uh, Realizing that A, you can't do it alone, and B, having gratitude for the gifts God does give us. If you like these videos, I hope you'll give a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, share them with others. That's the only reason why I do these videos, is to share them with other people. That maybe something I say will help somebody else find their serenity. And I know it's possible. I also know, like anything, you have to work at it. You have to sacrifice for it. And that's no different with the prayers to God. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your ego. You have to sacrifice time. It has to be a commitment. But I truly believe if you do these things, you'll find amazing, in my case, I've found amazing miracles. And I pray that you do too. Again, thank you so much for watching this. And if just for today, have a wonderful day.